What's up, my people? Welcome to Exploring the Car. And shout out to the Deftones. That's the new Deftones album, and can you believe it? I've known the Deftones and I've been following the Deftones. I first met them in 1995, right here in New York City at the Limelight, the club The Limelight. I used to do coat checking there. And in 1995, I met them. They actually opened up for Korn there. And so I've been following. I've always had a sort of spiritual connection to the band as well. Even the first night I saw them, just something magical happened, in the crowd. I was diving off the stage, and it was just a magical show. And then they had handed me this like little cassette tape, black cassette tape with like 3 songs on it. And I probably have it somewhere at my dad's house still, but they just came out with a new album, Ohms, right? And I had no idea. I had pre-ordered a merch and CD package months ago, and it got delayed. I forgot all about it, and then I finally got the package in the mail. They even included a sweatshirt. I got a T-shirt and the CD. And do you know that one of the songs on the album is called Urantia? Just like the Urantia book, Urantia papers that I've been talking about, that I've had since the 90s. I had no clue or why they even named the song that, but even reading the song, I know it has some sort of connection to receiving something in the dreams, the way even the lyrics are. It's very interesting that they named one of their songs that. And I'm going to see if I can get Chino, the singer, Chino Moreno. I think his real name is Camilo. I'm going to see if I can get him on my Truth Frequency radio show and interviewed. It's pretty cool. For those that don't know, even, I grew up, one of my cousins is a famous actor as well. He played in Sopranos. He wrote Summer of Sam and sold it to Spike Lee. And I think that they even know each other, those two. So it would be cool if I finally got to talk to him again, if I mentioned that, because I think I saw an interview with him and said that he either met my cousin or he liked The Sopranos or whatever. But yeah, I grew up with Michael Imperioli, and he's actually my older brother's age. My mom and my Aunt Claire both named their first son that was born in 1966 Michael. So my brother's name's Michael, and Michael is named Michael. They actually grew up closer because I was a lot younger, but I was always a little kid around because they're 10 years older than me. So, but I don't get to see him that much anymore ever since he moved to California. Last time I saw him was when my mom died, actually. But I talk to his mother and his father and his brother a lot. I talk to them very often. But right now I'm standing on the beach, right on the Hudson River, phantom shores of the Hudson River, and there's always unidentified lights in the sky over the Hudson River here. I don't know if you can even see the waters right now. I was on my way home from the store, and of course I passed the river here right on the shoreline, and I'd figure I'd stop and say hi to you all real quick. I'm looking to do a video later on because my daughter's sleeping right now, but I'm not sure what time she's gonna wake up. So when she wakes up, there's a lot to discuss, and I have a lot of interesting things to share. Yeah, it's really dark. You can't even see the water, but I'm right on the shores. Let me see if I could. Yeah, I can't turn the flashlight on this phone while the camera's on. I didn't delete any message. I don't know what got deleted, but Hey, Charla. Yeah, it's dark out here, but it's pretty nice out. It's like 55, 60 degrees. I got my Deftone sweatshirt. It's very interesting out. You know, you could really tap into things over here. It's a certain spot, like really along the chat. If you guys want a book recommendation, I definitely recommend. I don't know if you guys can still find it because I know it's out of print, but right here, it's called Beyond Telepathy. This is pages are starting to almost fall out of it, so I don't like to open it too much, but I took it with me before I was reading it. Look to it again. And of course, all sorts of books about telepathy and psychical research, but I definitely think that's probably one of the best I've ever read, if not, top three or whatever. But there's very interesting things that we want to talk about tonight concerning the Etruscan star mysteries, the stellar mysteries of Etruscan lore. And they basically directly got this information from the Egyptians and the Persians. And the Etruscans have always said, and this has been passed down through family lines and certain Italian mystery traditions that are sort of like an interesting blend between ancient mysticism and Roman Catholicism, sort of like interesting blend of worship. It's over the years how it's sort of entwined with each other. But some of the most ancient and most kept secret of the information about where the Etruscan origins come from. Of course, some of their information they said that it was they received with the Persians, but the origins of the Etruscan people and their DNA, they say that they come from a mysterious star people called the Inu. And this is very similar to to Anu as well, like from other cultures, right? So that I find very interesting, that you can find, not in you can't find it on the internet or anything like that, but in ancient Italian sources and a lot of ancient Italian family lines, hereditary family lines that have been passing this information through what we call the Vejas. It's spelled Veglia. Vejas is basically like a gathering between a whole ancestral family, like the cousins, the whole family line, and they'll invite other families, other hereditary families, to come to these like sort of like fire gatherings where they'll have a campfire, and they'll basically have like these plays that they act out. Like different people in the family will play different parts. The mother will play the but and they're acting out stories of the ancients. They're acting out stories of the gods. Like sometimes the mother will play the goddess role, the father will play the god role, and they're actually relaying stories of the gods. And some of the most ancient and well kept secret of these stories talk about the Etruscans coming from a mysterious star people called the Inu, right? And this is uh it's very similar to beings that they also call the Irin, 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 and the Grigori, or Watchers, right? So this is very interesting information, and they were all connected to different planetary systems, different stars, and even the Persians, they named the four royal stars of the gateways of they were the watchers over the stargates. They were literally the eyes of the night. And the Persians believed this as well. The Persians had four royal stars, and each star was a different watcher of the stargates. And there was Antares, Fomalhaut, Aldebaran, and I think Caput Agol or something like that. I think that's the four. But there's four main royal stars, right? So these are the guardians of the sky, the guys, the literally the eyes of the night, the watchers, and they watch over stargates and gateways between the sky and other worlds. And they watch over all spiritual energy and psychic activity. This is DNA, if you want to say. So this is very interesting information, and it's the most ancient of information that we have on this planet, passed down from Atlantis. Sup, Johnny? Wow, I feel something around me right now too. I wish you guys can see where we are. Yeah, tonight is a very special night. I could feel it in the air. Even the moon on November 2nd, it was the night after the main full moon. November 2nd, there was something that was taking place with the moon. It even was glowing a certain color. I think it was like receiving information from the asteroid that flew by on November 2nd. Massive Attack. It's funny that you say Massive Attack. That was me and my mom's special song. There's this song from Massive Attack called Protection. And especially when my mom was sick, my mom she used to ask me to make her like CDs for her car, and that's pretty friggin' cool because considering the music that I listened to and the music that she grew up, you know, with, and my dad doesn't listen to anything like that. My mom's was completely different, and I gave my mom a burned copy of. No, actually, I first gave her uh, the regular, my full copy, like, wasn't even a burn copy of the actual album for Protection and the Massive Attack Blue Lines. And then I burned her like a mixture of Massive Attack, Mezzanine album, Protection, Blue Lines, all these different albums. I did like a mixture of, and then I added like Tricky, She Makes Me Wanna Die, and those songs, some of those other songs from Tricky as well on there. I made her like, and she loved them. I couldn't believe it. Karma Coma, all those songs. Oh my God, she loved it. She used to bang that stuff in her car all the time. And that one song, Protection, is sort of like a special song that makes me think about my mom. I get goosebumps. Even my cousin Chelsea gets goosebumps when she hears that song now, and she immediately thinks of me and my mom. Um, yeah, that song puts me through some emotions when I hear it now. It's interesting you brought that up, Massive Attack. Yeah, Lydia, have you ever gotten I'm not sure, forgive me if I for not remembering, but I'm not sure if you ever got any of my tensor tools before, Lydia. When you feel like that with a migraine, you could put one of the tensor rings or the AccuVac or something right on your forehead, literally. Jeanette, yeah, you listed it in the background. So this is the song called Urantia too from Deftones. I'm probably gonna get a strike for putting this on there, but yeah, I send the PO boxes. I send it anywhere on Earth. You're a lot like me. Yeah, I like this new album. I'm like emotionally connected to Deftones in a way. I know, I don't know how real Chino would get in an interview, but I know that he he's tapped into other dimensional information. And some people just, the way they express that side of them is through their music, and they never really want to talk about it more openly. But I know that I can even sense that, like, probably when he showers and different things like that, that he's tapping into a higher force as well. So I feel it in his in even in the way he sings, and he might not even realize it. Yeah, I send the PO. I send everywhere on the planet. You know, in fact, anywhere in the United States, I don't charge for shipping. I do charge for shipping outside of the U.S. Too much money, but I do like a flat rate. But yeah, I don't charge for shipping in the United States. It's included in the price, and some of my crystals might seem a little pricey at first, but they're not, because they're the highest grade crystals you could find, first of all. Second of all, I know where they're sourced from, and that's one of the main reasons why I get the certain crystals that I get, is that I want, I want to make sure that they're not sourced in a dark way. And then I make sure I cleanse them as well when I get them, and make sure they're positively charged as well. So it's very rare that you get that with crystals, and that's why it's definitely worth getting crystals from me and copper tensor tools. All of my tensor tools are bathed in 432 hertz as well, while they're being made and while they're being packaged with orgone powered pyramid and frequency generators and orgone powered devices and frequency generators on 432 hertz. So the copper and the crystals are bathed in positive energy as well. And sage, everything is packaged and it's bathed in sage and everything else. So it's in my opinion, the copper tensor tools on my store are just as powerful, if not more powerful, than some of the ones that are out there. I think the only ones that are really, there's other companies, but Slim Sperling's company, Light Life Technology, is probably the best work you could find out there. In my opinion, it's really advanced, really advanced. But you guys can see how beautiful this work is here. Look at this. This is my personal harmonizer. See the AccuVac in the middle? This is the Taurus Field harmonizer system and the infinity chain on it. So you get basically two tensor tools, because you have the infinity one as well. The never-ending knot of energy that's connected to the harmonizer. Also the Tricyon, or my Triquarta Dreamcatcher tensor, that is the never-ending triple spiral, the infinity spiral. A never-ending loop of 3 spirals. Yeah, Edna, it's the energies on this planet, so tensor tools, I'm telling you, they're one of the ways to help. Immediately help. As soon as you get them in your hand, as soon as you even see the package, before you even open it, you feel it. And when you touch tensor, your body sort of adjusts to them after you first touch them. But usually, the first time you ever touch a tensor tool, if it's twisted the right way, and it's the correct qubit and everything is correctly done, when you first touch it, you will feel energy, almost like electricity through your fingers and up your arm, like a positive force. And then it's not that it loses its strength, but your body gets uh, it it remembers that feeling. So like the next time you touch it, you might not feel that electricity sort of feeling, but it so don't think that it's because it lost its energy or anything like that. It's just that your body sort of remembers and adjusts to it. So it's not that you're building a tolerance to it or that it's not working anymore. It's that your body sort of remembers that frequency, and it's more aligned with it now, and it's really an amazing science behind it as well. So the harmonic resonance frequency of this sacred qubit is 144 megahertz, which is harmonic light speed, right? So you're getting bathed with light, bathed with sacred light within your blood, within your bones, within your physical body and spiritual body, you know? So it's really amazing. Really amazing. So guys, check me out on Patreon. I'm going to be making a post in a few minutes on Patreon, actually. And then when my daughter wakes up, we're actually going to be doing a show later on. I got to go in the morning to my Aunt Gloria. My Aunt Gloria's wake. She's actually my dad's aunt, my great aunt. She was the last of my grandparents' siblings. She was my grandfather's sister. And my grandfather died many years ago, maybe 20 years ago or more now. All my grandparents did. I was kind of a late born kid. So I'm in my 40s, but my brothers and sisters are in their my brother and sister are in their 50s, right? So my grandparents died a long time ago, and my mom's already been gone for 10 years. So my dad's left, and of course my brother and sister, and I have cousins and stuff like that. But my Aunt Gloria was the last of my grandfather's siblings on my dad's side, and she was 90 years old too. So she lived a pretty long life, and she was a beautiful lady, amazing sense of humor, and calm peaceness about her. She had, say, so did my grandfather. There was a few of my grandfather's brothers and sisters that were like, tough, tough, hard people. But then there was a couple of them that were really peaceful and mellow, like my grandfather. My grandfather, some of his brothers were like tough, hardcore people, like, but he was I'd never seen him yell. He was very calm, my grandfather. You know, for people, and my great grandfather, my dad's grandfather, he actually spent 20 years in Sing Sing, for killing somebody over a card game. He caught a guy cheating, and like big money was on the table. This was in the 1920s, during the Depression, right around the Depression time. And he was like a well-known sort of like made man in the area. He had just came over from Italy, and him and his family sort of like controlled a certain area of Mount Vernon and the Bronx. And they were playing a card game, a really high stakes card game, and he caught the guy cheating. Then he went to the back room and got his gun and came back out and shot the guy. So it was like premeditated, they called it, or whatever. But he did about 15 to 20 years, I think, in Sing Sing, and then he got out and he died right in front of my dad, Godfather style, playing with the tomato plants in the front yard. My dad was on the porch, similar to the friggin' Godfather story. It's weird, right? And then my cousin ends up playing in Goodfellas. My cousin played Spider the waiter in Goodfellas, and then he went to Sopranos, right? So it's very interesting. And my brother sort of lived that life. Michael Imperioli didn't really live that kind of life. He went to like acting school. He was like a pretty much had his face in the books most of his life. So it wasn't like he was on the street or anything like that. But he made a real good name for himself, and he portrayed it pretty well. I'm proud of him. Yeah, people don't even realize where some of the term mafia comes from, and even the guy Mazzini, and Mazzini sort of like that's where sort of like the name even mafia came from. And ma means the Madonna. Even like when they say, "Oh, Madonna me," it's my Madonna, you know, the Madonna of mine, you know, oh Madonna of mine, Madonna me. It's like you're praying to Mother Mary right there, right? So even mafia, it's in honor of the mother goddess, and they do a lot of sacred blood rituals in the mafia. And Mazzini, his first sort of like group, that secret society, if you want to say, that was actually called Obelus, because Obelus is like a spit or a spike, right? Just like sort of like the term obelisk. And because he was like the term was like, I beckon with my knife, because it could be even a knife. An obelisk can also be a knife or a spike. So it's making a ritual with your dagger, right? So that was the first name of his secret society, Mazzini. People don't even realize like some of the name, where it comes from, and the reason why even secret societies even formed in Sicily at first, because Sicily is an energetic power spot on our planet in the Mediterranean, and it was constantly ravaged by Phoenicians, you know, all different cultures, from the Phoenicians to the Saracens, the Sicels, all of these different cultures, sort of like controlled Spaniards, all these different cultures, the Moors, all throughout time, all these different cultures were constantly in battle over this area. So some of the ancient ancestral information, of course, had to be hidden and become, secret. But I will check you guys later. Who's in the chat room before we go? Very interesting stuff. That's one of my. You could pretty much call me almost like an expert in Italian mysticism. I spent pretty much more than 30 years researching Italian history and mysticism, and some of the information I'm talking about you can only find through ancestral lines and hereditary information. So some of it you could find out there in books and things like that, but I'm going to be doing a show probably on Patreon. And if there's not a lot of people that show up on Patreon, I'll probably just go live on YouTube. I just don't know what time yet, because my daughter's sleeping in the room. So I had to go out and get a few things at the store. Still tripping me out that they have a song called Inertia on the new Deftones album. Still tripping me out. I felt like I was gonna see something over the Hudson River here. That's why I originally had stopped at this site. But I'm gonna check you guys a little later. I hope you all have a very safe night. Spiral out.